So the Anniversary Planar Fissure 300% drops is about to release, so today I'm going over every single world, telling you what you should and should not farm. This video is going to be fast paced as there is a lot of worlds, so do keep that in mind, but let's get into it.
Stuck grinding in Honkai Star Rail? Need Stellar Jades fast? We've got you covered. Head over to U7 Buy, your ultimate gaming hub for save fast and cheap in-game top-ups. Whether it's Star Rail or your other favorite games, U7 delivers instantly and players love it. Check out their Trustpilot reviews, they're actually top ranked. On the Honkai Star Rail direct top-up page, you can recharge your account in seconds. For example, 8080 Honorific Shards cost $99.99 in the official store. However, on U7 Buy, you can see the price is cheaper. When you head over to U7 Buy, you might notice that the storefront display prices currently match the in-game store, but don't worry, the magic happens at checkout. Once you click the buy now button, your total instantly drops to our actual discounted price only. Just pick your server, enter UID, pay securely, and boom, your account is instantly loaded. Want extra savings? Use code PRETSR at checkout for 5% off, perfect for last minute pulls, battle passes, or surprising a friend. And here's a bonus. If you spend $80 a month on U7 Buy, you can grab the Honkai Star Rail Express Pass for only 1 cent, which is nearly free. Click on the link in my description, recharge fast, save more, and keep blazing those trails.
Alright, so starting out with the first world with Space Sealing Station and Ageless. Don't bother farming this world, both these sets are outdated entirely and will never be best in slot again, so it is just not worth farming these, they are not good. Then we have Talia and Vonwacq. Talia is practically just worthless now because the Dahlia exists, making Forge the best in slot for any break character. This would only be if you have a Dahlia-less break team with Buto or Rappa specifically, that's kind of it. Flip side, Vonwacq still one of the best sets in the game, not just for 0 cycles and high AV hits, but also just having your debuffer / buffer act first, it is just generally good. However, since it's only one valuable set, I would only use Relic Remains. Then we have Cosmic and also Celestial Differentiator. Cosmic, this is really only for Welt nowadays. If you are struggling to hit the full actual effectivity requirement, flip side, Celestial Differentiator is the worst set in the entire game. Don't know why this exists. Never was good from the beginning of the game till now, so it's just not worth farming this world at all, as there really won't be a case to even want to Cosmic anyways, since if you're crafting good pieces, you'll probably be crafting something else for Welt anyways, so yeah, don't bother. Then we have Belobog and Salsotto. Belobog, the only characters this is best in slot in are actually just outdated, being Japard and Fire MC. Salsotto still has some uses, mainly for ultimate users, but for follow-up users, usually they have Duran anyway, so if you have Salsotto needs, you'd mainly just use Remains. Then we have Rutilant and Keel. Rutilant is still fine for characters who can use it, which are a pretty good chunk of characters. Flip side, Keel, while I find supportive set, is mostly outdated since you usually want 5% energy regen rate. So if you are looking for Rutilant pieces, you mainly would be wanting to use Relic Remains as well. Then we have a Glamoth and Penacony. Glamoth, if you are able to use it, is actually still an effective set. Flip side, Penacony, when applicable, is actually also a good set. You just have to make sure that the person wearing this is the same type as the characters you want to buff, so that could be a bit restrictive, but when it is applicable, it is fine, such as using Sparko with Zele or Emiya, Bronya with Anaxa, so on and so forth. That's where these sets actually do work, and then Glamoth is for anyone that can even get 135. It's just effective as long as they get benefits from damage percent and attack, and if they can reach 160, the set becomes even better. So this one can actually have some value. If it's one or the other, then you guessed it, Relic Remains. Then we have Unclaimed Desolation with Izumo. Unclaimed Desolation, while a good set, you only really fully stack it in Pure Fiction, which is why it's generally not worth it. Flip side, Izumo, while fine and usually is a good option on a lot of characters, the reason it's good is just because it covers miss and crit rate, and usually the characters you can actually use this on have better options for DPS anyways, so I generally don't recommend this world either, as you're not really going to swap to a set purely for Pure Fiction, nor really would ever recommend farming Izumo either. Then we have Duran and Forge. Duran is the best in slot for any follow-up character usually, and then we also do have Forge, which is the best in slot for any break character, even for the ones that are not actually Firefly, because Firefly can implant Fire Weakness because the Dahlia is able to implant Fire Weakness, since she is a part of the Dance Partners, so it's the type plus the Dahlia, so it's always Fire Weakness, so that's why you can really put this on anyone, and you're not really going to use break without the Dahlia anyway. So yeah, if you have both sides of the coin here, so follow-up team with also the break team, this is probably one of the most valuable ones you can farm. One or the other would of course point to Relic Remains. Then we have the world with Lushaka and Bananamusement. I'm going to talk about Bananamusement first. While this set isn't necessarily used on many people, it's best in slot for Aglia and Jingwon, Aglia being the only one that's relevant out of the two, and then also is able to be used when you are pairing other DPS with Danang Permanent, since he can attach the bond mate to them, give them the summon to activate the set, and usually those characters that can use it also do have this as a pretty competitive option. So if you have those setups, then this set does become valuable. The reason I want to say this world will be valuable regardless is because Lushaka is just such a valuable set. It is probably the best supportive set in the game, despite being so simple. Just the energy regen rate and also 12% attack is solid, so if the character that you are buffing is scaling off attack, it's good, and regen rate is something you always want to have on your support slash debuffers anyways. That's why I generally recommend this world regardless of not, like, I know I usually always recommend having one with two so you get the best odds, and I was saying Relic remains if it's one or the other, but Lushaka is just that valuable that I can honestly recommend anyone to farm this even if you have no reason to use Bananamusement. So this world is actually one I just recommend overall. Then we have the Bone set and the Giant Tree set. Bone set is the best in slot for really any HP scaling DPS. Castress, Evernight, you can use it on Tribi as well. Blade, Jinglu, perhaps even the upcoming character of Mortanix Blade. Just a really good set for them. And then on the flip side, Giant Tree set is the best in slot healing set for anyone that can actually have the thresholds. Always best in slot for Hyacinth, but if you want the best healing output, this is also just the best ever. So usually everyone would have a form to benefit from this because you can use it on Gallagher, because you usually would want to build him fast anyways, and this helps. Same thing with Luocho or even someone like Bailu if you're really using her. Primarily for Hyacinth, but the others can use it. And then if you have the HP scaling DPS, this set is valuable too. So if you have both to be applicable, then you can farm this. Otherwise, you would guess it, Relic remains for one or the other. Then we have the Arcadia set with Revelry. Arcadia is only really used on two characters, being Finon primarily and also usable on Evernight. Bone is usually a lot more consistent and consistently better when it comes to Evernight. And for Finon specifically, this set compared to Rutilant is only like 3% better if you were to take into account the same stats. That's why it is generally not something you have to upgrade unless you are really looking to get the absolute best min-max damage out your Finon. But if you just happen to have those characters while also having value for Revelry, which is the best in slot for any character on the dot team doing damage, so really every character that isn't Kafka, then you could just get both, but otherwise you would just pick one or the other, and I don't even gotta say what you gotta do if that was the case. Second last world with the Amphoreous set and also the Tengoku set. The Amphoreous set is used on two characters, mainly Cyrene and also RMC can use it. If your Cyrene is on a different set or you're just not using it on the team, then you can put this on RMC instead. Crit rate part for Cyrene is pretty good since you do want to try to get a good crit ratio, and then speed is just universally good on most of her teams, and especially for herself since she is able to scale a bunch off speed and you want to get as much speed as possible. Same reasons apply to RMC. Flip side, we would have the Tengoku set, which is best in slot for mainly Archer and also Sparksy. However, Sparksy also does have a different set you can use instead of this, so that is going to be what we're about to get into. So if you have a set of those characters, then this would be valuable. Otherwise, these sets are a little more on the niche side, since there's not many characters that can use it, but Cyrene is a very popularly owned character, so it probably has some form of value to you, but otherwise, Relic remains. Finally, the Punklorde set and also the City of Converging Stars. Punklorde is best in slot for the main Elation DPSs, being the upcoming character Evanesia and also Silver Wolf SP. However, Sparksy can use this as well. Elation increase and also crit damage for it. Very, very solid all around, so if you just have any form of those Elation DPS, you're going to want to use it. Converging Stars, you usually give this to some character with a follow-up attack on the team that isn't the main DPS. I know a lot of people give this to Asheville for their Face Shot, but I honestly would give this to Face Shot instead of Asheville because Asheville just does more damage. But yeah, there's so many places you can actually put this on those follow-up related teams. Like you can put it on Cypher, you can even put it on your Permanent Donhang. So if you're running a follow-up related team, this is also just good to use. And necessarily it doesn't have to be on a follow-up team since the wearer has to use a follow-up attack, but that's it, so you can just buff other characters. So yeah, you can really just put this on any of those follow-up characters that could be fitting on other teams, so primarily characters like Cypher or again, someone like Donhang. So if you have a combination of those, then this world will also be valuable. And that's really it. As you can tell, all you want to do is pick a world where you have a double actual value, just so you have the best odds of not getting complete garbage unless you're just doing Lushaka, because again, Lushaka is just a good focus set. For example, I most likely am doing Lushaka because Lushaka is Lushaka, but I also do have Aglia that I would love to get better pieces on, which I have said this for multiple months and I still have yet to get an upgrade, so that's just kind of how it is. So yeah, just pick a world where you do have double the value of something, even if it's less priority. Like let's say you want to get Duran pieces for your follow-up characters, but you don't have any break. So instead, I would just recommend farming something like Bone, because maybe you have the HP scaling DPS and then you have Hyacinth and some other healers. And and then you can salvage those relic remains to make a Duran. That's just kind of how you go about it for best efficiency. Anyway, that is the video. Hope you found it helpful. If you did, drop a like, it'd be greatly appreciated. If you're new to the channel or haven't done so already, be sure to subscribe and turn on the bell icon for future videos like this, along with all other types of Star Wars content. And I'll see you later. Peace out.